Everything starts with the M2 money supply, and I am certain that the Federal Reserve will soon inject the market with a huge amount of money. That is the subject of our conversation. Our plan is to unwind and take it easy in order to handle this situation. Feel free to become a part of the group. Hi, I'm Nick. If you aren't already a subscriber, you will be by the time this film is over. As of late, the Chief Information Officer of Bitwise penned something that says it's great. As we were discussing earlier, he was repeating the Federal Reserve's recent remark that they are prepared to aid in market stability if needed, and he provided a quotation from Bitwise's head of Alpha Strategies to back it up. "Look at Burr with all those machines, you evildoers," a strong person exclaims. "We are mostly concerned about their future action." If the Federal Reserve were to publish startling news on the 11th, we are aware that it would be ready to employ all of its resources to keep the financial markets stable. Wow, you've got it. Discussions about GT will continue shortly. Susan Collins claims that the Federal Reserve is ready to use a variety of tools in its actions. That this happened at roughly the same time as the bond is the most ridiculous part. A market crash had everyone on the edge of their seats. Everyone has been claiming that Trump's whole objective is to have the Fed change direction. Therefore, it would appear like the Fed is poised to make a major move or pivot based on the current state of these markets. Before we get into it, though, I'd want to present a tape that Matt made, because the general currency war, essentially the trade war with the tariff talks, was recently discussed by Justin, a $12 billion zero-cent asset manager on Bloomberg. A $12 billion zero-cent asset management said that the chief information officer gave the following statement: "I believe that Bitcoin will be the winner in this currency war. Bitcoin looks like it's going to have a big price increase. Everything in the cryptocurrency sector is now known to rise in tandem with Bitcoin." But it brings back memories of March 2023 when financial institutions were collapsing and Bitcoin's fate was a major concern. Then, as those banks went bankrupt and insane, Bitcoin utterly countered all the negative sentiment. I predict that as word of these tariff talks spreads, Bitcoin's price will skyrocket, just like it did after hearing the news. The trade war and the currency conflict, the cryptocurrency sector as a whole, not just Bitcoin specifically, is about to experience a meteoric rise, in my view. But I think it has aged pretty nicely. You should see it. Assuming the stock market maintains its current strength, I anticipate a substantial price increase for Bitcoin as a result of this performance regular for a while. When Bitcoin's value first fell below $5,000, 0 cents, and subsequently below that, the economy genuinely crumbled. A total of $80, 0 cents, is being discussed today. It is different because the institutions that own it are more scattered. It seems to be telling me once again that the market will go back to where it was, to new heights, and then keep going up once it stabilizes. Moving on from the spot Bitcoin market to the options market, in my opinion, is a true demonstration of power. Your covered call plan at Bitwise started in early April, so that's why. Where is everyone? How is the adoption progressing? Indeed, we are overjoyed perspectives on these approaches. In their covered call strategy, they invest in popular cryptocurrency equities such as Coinbase MicroStrategy Marathon. One of the things that sets cryptocurrencies apart is their volatility. Also, what are some ways to benefit from uncertainty? As an example, one can make a lot of money by writing calls against unpredictable occurrences. What this means is that a lot of people, especially those who want to invest in Bitcoin and make a ton of money over time, will love the MicroStrategy offering that I didn't mention before. But trading has been nice overall. The topic of how cryptocurrencies function in a global economy where fiat currencies are falling in value is a very valid one. In my opinion, Bitcoin has emerged victorious in this monetary war. As I anxiously awaited Trump's and China's actions and the number of deals we might achieve, I found myself increasingly confused and worried. But there was one thing that stood out to me more than everything else. It seems likely that the value of the US dollar will fall. Tomorrow, the US dollar might not be the only reserve currency in circulation. In fact, there may be several. When the value of other currencies falls, Bitcoin's value rises. Having greater room for backup assets improves Bitcoin's performance. I believe it's the greatest investment to tackle the confusion and chaos caused by tariffs because it prevents fiat currency from being devalued. Many nations, including the United States, China, and Europe, are likely making plans for it. It is my belief that everything is ready too, perfectly suited to the meteoric rise of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency prices. Put another way, the dollar has lost more than 30% of its worth in just 1 year. Sure, the second one is the M2 source. So, since this is still a consideration, I've been keeping a careful eye on the M2 supply, particularly in light of what Raoul Pal has shown regarding the 12-week lead of the global M2 supply followed by Bitcoin. Time is of the essence. This chart has been reviewed, or you may view it separately, put it in trading view and look at Bitcoin. The map looks great either way. The worldwide M2 has been a driving force behind Bitcoin's meteoric rise, and it seems like we're starting to pull ahead in terms of the M2. Again, this is a factor with a 12-week expiration date, but we're almost there. And if we look at the M2 supply right now, we may base this on the beginning of 2025. The M2 stock price is up about 0.51% since the beginning of 2025. This is a major change, even though it may not appear much at first. It was $111 billion, 0 cents, and we didn't even print it. Please do not dismiss the Fed just yet. Then why would the Federal Reserve reconsider? Since the M2 supply, which is a measure of the market's money supply, will be expanding rapidly, there will be a major change. First, let's take a quick look at the international financial scene. These are the M2S from 4 different countries: China, the US, Europe, and Japan. Imagine it as the sum total of all the money on Earth. Here you may see the top 5. Due to their sustained profitability, China has been a major contributor to the M2 supply during the last year or two. It has been rather flat